Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to look at Family Dinner by Button Shy Games. This is going to be a 2 to 6 player game, and this is a unique game out of the Button Shy line. There's going to be 3 of these that I'm going to go over, and these are going to be RPG style games where you're going to narrate and create a story as you go along and use these cards for inspiration during that story and sort of guide it. So in this game, you're going to be playing as a family making a 6-course meal and what goes and happens over that 6-course meal. Let's go ahead down to the table here. I'll show you how to play this game and then we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so this is Family Dinner. In Family Dinner, family isn't always easy. How can you trust the people you know best? Sharpen your knives and fake a smile. It's dinner time. So in this game, you're going to have 18 cards. In addition to that, you're going to need 1 sheet of paper. You're going to need scraps of paper for each player and a pencils and pens for each player. To start the game, each player is going to take on a role of a member of a large family. Players each name their character, first name only, and decide how old they are. All characters must be adults. You'll be talking about events in the past. It's more fun if you remember them. So if you're a child, you're not going to really have too many events from the past. So you're going to go around the table and introduce yourselves. Include a brief description of your appearance and what you do. As a group, draw your family tree on the blank piece of paper. So the big piece of paper you have, you're going to draw your family tree on there. And how you are all related. So basically going to talk through this. After everyone introduces themselves, you're going to take your first names, you're going to place them on it, and you're going to figure out a family tree. Non-player characters may be included, but remember that more people will be added throughout the game. So you can add a couple people. I would suggest not doing this at all until you play through a game. So just add the characters that are on there to create your family tree. So after that, each player may ask the character immediately older than them what their character calls them. So if they have any nicknames and stuff. So to get things started that way. Starting with the youngest player, you're going to answer the following questions. What is your surname? Where is this dinner taking place? What brought you back together? When was the last time your family was together like this? Next, from the oldest to the youngest, you're all going to agree on a memory that you share with the character sitting to your left. Your memories will show ties in your shared history. Whether that's last week or 3 decades ago, you don't have to be dramatic or highly emotional. You can just have mundane things in there if you want, because it's going to build on the story, and the story doesn't necessarily have to be sensationalized by like crazy stuff. Like your uncle drove your car into the lake and stole all your money. You know, you don't actually have to have that in there. You can have mundane stuff and then build on top of it too. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to write your character's name and a secret about them on the piece of paper that you got, and you're going to fold that in half. You're going to give it to the oldest character, who then gives one to each player in turn without looking at it. After that, the player that got the sheet will immediately look at it to make sure it's not their own, and ideally you won't know who has your secret if you, so basically try to, use the same ink, use the same paper, that sort of thing, and try to shuffle it up real good so that less likely that people will know what that secret is. Revealing a secret is a major moment in the game. Revealing someone else's secret should be especially rare and powerful, just as it would be in a real family gathering. So you might know a family member's secret, but you don't necessarily want to, blurt it out. And finally, going to deal out ingredient cards. I'm going to deal out ingredient card counts based on the number of players. For a 2-player game, each player receives 6. For a 3 and 4-player game, each player is going to receive 4. And for a 6-player game, players are going to receive 3 ingredient cards. So if we take a look at these ingredient cards, you're going to have, like, this is going to be, get this in focus, potatoes, raisins, and rice. And down on the bottom here, you'll notice that it has something buried and dug up again. And there it says someone representing the family on a bigger stage. So it's going to have two different things here. We're going to go over what they are, and this one has a little gem here, which is important. And like this one here has illness or people brought together. All right, so what do we do now? So that's the setup of the game, and we're ready to get into the gameplay itself. The gameplay consists over 6 scenes framed as 6 courses. Each course consists of 2 ingredient cards. Each ingredient contains a choice of 2 prompts. The prompts refer to the past events in the history of the family, not what's happening now. So remember that. Although the after effects of these events may well linger, for example, if Raisins, a dead body, is played, there wouldn't be a dead body found at the dinner table. Memories of terrifying childhood trip to a family crypt may be shared. So, like I said, here is the raisins they're talking about, and here is, you could do a dead body. You could also have picked an argument that divided the family. Starting with the oldest player and continuing in order, players take turns playing the cards from their hands and placing them on the table. The cards must be placed into the first course available from left to right. So this is the first course, so I would place raisins there. The next player might play, let's say, plantain, and they're going to have transformation. They're going to talk about that. All right, so let's rewind a little bit back here. So I placed raisins out. So that is the first card in the that is played in the course. So when that first card is played to a course, they define the first 2 ingredients in the course. The player consider the 2 prompts and choose one to describe. During their turn, they must mention a new family member and record them in the family tree. So remember I was saying the family tree would grow. This is how it grows. Next, any other player adds the second ingredient and the final card to the course. So that food overlaps the prompts from the first card. So the next player would say, I'm going to play the plantain. It would go like that. This is now important because they're going to look at the combination of ingredients that create the food. Right now you have a raisin and plantains. They're going to have to actually define this food here. So there's going to be plantains and raisins, and they're going to name that dish. So banana raisins or whatever. Once the food is defined, the player will look at the 2 prompts and choose one and describe it. So in this case, you have the plantation. And this one you're going to do transformation or a safety net. Any other family members, additional to those required when the first ingredient of the course is played, should be added to the family tree as they come up during play. So you definitely required to do it on the first card, but not after that necessarily, but you will have others pop up throughout as you describe things and talk. After those 2 cards have been played, the course is now complete. You're going to now play your starting card, and you're going to repeat what we just went over. You're going to continue on doing this until you get to your 6th course. So, game end. Once all 6 courses have been completed, the game ends. So that's it. At the end of the 6th course, the game is over. You can discuss stuff afterwards and talk about things, but the essence of this game is basically going to be a storytelling game. We're going to be talking about a functional or dysfunctional or whatever type of family you're deciding to do. And these cards are basically acting as sort of, if you've played like Rory story cubes, they're going to be acting like sort of a guideline that you're going to go in, and you're going to have to, on prompt, make up a story about it. So this is going to be like a light sort of role-playing game that is guided by these cards. Let's go ahead back up the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on the family dinner. So the family dinner is a really interesting game. If you like Rory story cubes or things around that area, you're going to like this. This one has a lot more structure than said Rory story cubes, and it can lead to really cool stories that generate, and they're so open with what you're going to do. So your group can decide whether they want to have like a fantasy medieval meal with their family, what type of family tree they want. They want a dysfunctional family, a normal family, whatever they want on there, and they can have fun interacting with each other and creating this wonderful story around the table. So basically, this is all about doing a sort of controlled role-playing game where you have some cards to give you guidance throughout the game and choices and ways that you have to use your creativity to form a cohesive story that is entertaining for everyone. So I really, really like that. There's a big guidebook in here that I didn't talk about, and the guidebook will help you try to get the most out of that. Try to have the most engaging story and try to have the most fun with the game. So if you're looking for something like this, which is going to be an RPG game that you can just pull out and have a lot of fun, and the length of time is all dependent on your group, I would highly recommend checking out Family Dinner. And that's my thoughts on it. Thank you for watching.